Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music. It's Black History Month in the States, and I'm continuing to look at more Ellington music, more music by Duke Ellington. Today, we're going to look at Caravan, kind of by special request, but also it was definitely in the back of my mind. Let's hop in. So, Caravan is tuned by Ellington and Juan Tizol, who was his trombone player. It's got a North African flavor, and that flavor comes from a clever use of altered chords and the octatonic scale kind of in combination, and we sort of have to tease it out. It's very often played with the middle section swung and the A section Latin. Well, let's just listen to the tune. Spicy, right? There are great recordings of this. The one that really just sits in my mind is from the terrific Trio album with Ellington, Max Roach on drums, the great bebop drummer Max Roach, and a fairly young Charles Mingus on bass. The name of that album is Money Jungle, and it's a battle royal of masterful musicians. You can actually hear Mingus kind of like, I mean, it seems to me, I can hear Mingus kind of trying to goad Ellington a little bit, while at the same time just being in total awe of him. Ellington was older at that time. Well, there's also a much earlier recording of the Ellington band, like obviously designed for a 78 side of Caravan, that is spectacular. It is just such a great arrangement. It sounds like a kind of a funny little head arrangement. It doesn't even sound like it was written out with these little inside lines. It's well worth listening to. Tizol does an amazing solo on that as well. And let's talk a little bit about the scale here. So this melody, which the tune is in F minor, and it begins on the dominant chord C, and it really is C7 flat 9, which is kind of like a G diminished chord. And kind of that, I think that's how you sometimes will see the chord written out. C is the bass, G diminished on top, and that gives you the C octatonic half step, whole step scale. Or you can kind of also think about it as just the kind of the version of C7 that might work with the F minor chord. But this melody, C, E natural to the B flat, this B natural to the B flat there is very spicy. It sounds North African, doesn't it, because of this? And then the line that falls out to get home to F, to Tizol originally wrote as just a chromatic line going down, but very often it gets played the way, I think I did it once this way. I skipped the G and went right to G flat and then enclosed the F. G flat, E, F, which I think to my ear sounds better. Super fun, right? That is really exciting. Well, we're going to have the chart in front of us probably as I talk about this. The B section just it's like almost like an old-fashioned swing B section. Instead of going to like the 3, 6, 2, 5, it does 1 as a dominant chord, F9, and then B9, B flat 9, because F is the 5 of B flat. E flat 7, because B flat is the 5 of E flat. A flat 6, turn it around, C7, and then we're back to where we started. I think that Caravan is one of the great examples of the American swing world, the sort of black classical improvisational world, meeting up with Western classical music's affection and perhaps I'll just say like a slight obsession with the exotic, the North African scales, and the use of the octatonic scale or the use of altered scale as a substitute for an authentic, say, indigenous scale. And, you know, this is what Western music has always done, we'll just admit it. But the big band that Ellington put together and the marriage of those individual musical voices allowed Tizol to sort of tease it out, get that sort of Afro-Caribbean influence in there, get that swing influence in there, get that complicated dominant chord, diminished chord goodness in there, and just kind of make this wonderful mashup. As a result, we've heard covers of Caravan from all kinds of artists, and I think it's well worth taking a crack at yourself. I think there's definitely all kinds of versions of that song out there waiting to be done. Well, I do love Ellington. There's kind of something there in every style for you when you start looking at his output. And his career spanned decades. He had a resurgence in the 50s after a giant Newport Jazz Festival breakout in like 56 or 7, something like that. And he lived into the 70s and was an influence on composers and jazz musicians, you know, my age, like as a living presence, you know, translatable. I remember seeing him live on TV when I was young. And yet there's early Ellington recordings that sound like the Chick Webb Orchestra almost. When Count Basie, another big band leader, heard the Ellington band for the first time, he's reported as saying, "Boy, we've got work to do." And I think that's kind of how I feel about Ellington. I feel about Ellington like I feel about Bach. I look at his output and I think, boy, I've got work to do. Well, I hope this was useful. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.